how freaking cool is that? And I mean not only my Canon 70D. Hey everyone, my name's Kretz, and as you can see, I'm decorating my studio ceiling with these CDs. Why the hell would you do that? Someone would ask. And I would answer, there are actually a couple of reasons for that. One reason is that I found a lot of CDs in my studio closet, and some of them are with my previous recordings, some of the recordings of my favorite bands, some of them are actually with porn. As you understand, they're all out of date now, because we have an online porn. I'm just kidding. They're out of date because we have flashes and we have mobile devices, so I don't need this bunch of CDs. And as well, as you can probably see, my studio ceiling is made of carpet, something like felt. So it was done just for high frequency absorption, which is needed for sound recording for my studio, and it works fine. But this coverage was done not bad, it was of good quality work, but it's not very nice, and I want it to look beautiful, so I think these CDs make some reflections, and my studio ceiling is actually dark, so even at daylight, even with my single window open at a sunny day, it's still quite dark in my room, so I think this CD is gonna give me some reflections from my window and from my light, so my studio is gonna be much lighter and much nicer, that's why. And here another guy would say, what the hell does this all have to do with the title that you gave to your video? Actually, it has nothing to do with that, so let's just go straight to the subject. I have never done a gear review in my life, so I think it's right the time to do that. And again, why? Probably just because I think my video quality is quite good now. I am really satisfied with the video that I'm delivering to my YouTube channel. I think it's very decent and I'm satisfied with the video, with the picture and with the sound. So I think I would share it and share how I do it and share my gear. And the other reason might be is just because I don't have anything else to shoot and I just love those beautiful B-rolls. Alright, let's start with the history of me getting to YouTube, to shooting videos, and let's go through all my gear since the beginning till this day. I actually started active vlogging in 2014, in the summer 2014, and I have a little introduction video which you can watch, but it's in Russian language, so if you know the language, just watch it, and if not, I'll tell you the brief story just right now. As you might know from the previous video about my musical projects, I'm a musician, I'm a sound producer, and I own this little beautiful studio, and I've been into music since 10 years old. So, when my career went down from the stage performance right to the studio sound recording, which appeared just about 2010, I started missing the actual performance to the audience. Sound recording in the studio is beautiful. You have nice recordings after you can promote them, you can put them online and so on, but you do not have that energy exchange which happens when you're on stage and you're performing, you're playing instruments, you're singing, you're drumming, and so on. I miss this all very much, and by 2014 I just simply understand that I can perform to you, I can perform to the audience through my camera, so I started doing that, which is very nice. The famous quote says, the best camera is the one that you have in your hand right now. So I just started to shoot with the one that I had, and that was the mobile device, the HTC Sensation, which already at that time shot 1080p. But actually I had a PC of 2008 actually, so that was a very bad PC and it was not handling 1080p very much, so I had to shoot at 720, and I started to shoot just with my mobile phone. It was everything was handheld. I didn't have a tripod, I didn't have any additional lens, I had nothing, just my phone, and I started to shoot with that, and I was pretty much satisfied for some time, for a few months. And later I was just missing the part to control what I'm shooting. So I wanted the device, the camera, which had a flip out screen, which is beautiful. I love flip out screens. So I went to the market and made some search and research and watched some reviews, and I chose my little point-and-shoot Nikon, or Nikon as you like, camera. It was a nice camera. It even had a Wi-Fi to control your camera over the smartphone, and it shot 1080p as well, but I didn't have the nice PC to handle it, so I still shot 720, and it was quite nice. I could control myself, watch myself. It had a wide angle lens, and it could zoom. It could optically zoom, not just like my phone camera, which could zoom only digitally. It was small, nice, portable. It even had a better sound than my smartphone, and the shooting was not so jerky as previously. So for some time I was shooting with this point-and-shoot Nikon camera. And later I just knew from my girlfriend that she owns a digital SLR camera, which was Canon 550D. And a couple of times I shot my videos, she helped me with that camera, and I actually did not understand much the difference between the point-and-shoot and digital SLR. She was saying to me something about the pulling the focus, and I had no idea what to do with that. So we shot a couple of videos, and that was it. I continued to shoot with my point-and-shoot. But later I started to get interested in reviewing some cameras and some gear and some devices and some philosophies of shooting videos, and I just took her camera home, and actually it was at my place for a year after that. I was not giving her back, and later, as with everything in my life, I started learning more and more stuff, learning about shooting modes, and about different types of cameras and lenses and so on. So I just borrowed her camera, and actually it was at my place for about a year, right until we split, and I had to give it her back. But actually Canon 550D was a very nice camera. It had a Full HD, it had 720p 60 frames per second, and I also installed Magic Lantern software there, and Magic Lantern is a very beautiful thing, and it gave so much possibilities to this camera, so it was very nice. But as I said, after splitting with the girl, I had to give the camera back to her, which was a pity. I actually asked if I could buy her camera, but she refused. Well, from that point in time I was left again with my point-and-shoot camera, and I wanted DSLR and nothing else. So I went to the used cameras market because it was a hard times. I don't have any budget for a good camera, and I decided to just buy the camera just a little better than Canon 550 and the closest to it at the same price range. And unsurprisingly, I found the Canon 600D, which is practically just the same as 550D, but it has a flip out screen, and it made a great difference. It actually was much more convenient to shoot yourself with the flip out screen. So I love this camera. I installed Magic Lantern again to that camera, which gave me even more possibilities than with 550D, especially in monitoring audio, in different audio modes, and histogram, and so on and so forth. And for my 600D, I was buying some stuff. I was buying a couple of Chinese lenses, which are actually very nice, but very nice for video, but for photos they are quite soft. So anyway, they're really cheap. And I bought a couple of tripods and tripod heads and a Steadicam and all that little pieces and all this stuff I was shooting with. But the one real thing that I was lacking in my 600D is, of course, the autofocus during video, and it had not. And again, let's go to the next model after 600D, which is 650D. And why I'm remembering that? Just because my friend owned a 650D and I borrowed the camera, and I just wanted to check the autofocus during video, especially face tracking, you know, like in this beautiful camera with this beautiful lens, which works really fine. It's absolutely beautiful. And I checked 650D with the autofocus face tracking. It was not good. As far as I know, 650D Canon was the first camera with the autofocus face tracking at video, so it was not very polished technology at that time. The autofocusing was jerking, it was hunting, it was inaccurate, and it was very slow. I already have a test video on my channel. It's in Russian, but you can see how not good was that camera autofocus. So I started my research again, and I was watching tons and tons of reviews, just trying to choose and to pick up the camera that suits my requirements. And finally, I figured out that it's the Canon 70D. I realized that it's gonna be a perfect camera for me. And as well, by the time I had only this Chinese lens and I had the kit lens, so I understood that I want the fast standard zoom lens, which is gonna give me a nice blurry background, with tons of light to this lens, and still quite nice zoom range like a kit lens. So I started to saving up money for Canon 70D with the Sigma 70-50 f2.8. Oh, and I forgot, just at the time that when I was getting into that DSLR stuff, I just changed my mobile device from HTC Sensation to HTC One M8, and that mobile phone shoots a very nice video. It's beautiful. And it also has a 1080p 60 frames per second, which is not available at Canon 550D and Canon 600D and all those Canons, including 70D. So from time to time I was shooting my videos with my smartphone HTC One M8. And when I finally bought my Canon 70D, I was so happy to have that. It was so brilliant, it was so nice to have this face tracking autofocus so fast, so accurate, so beautiful, and you can move anywhere and it's gonna track your face, so it was such a relief. And it was such a relief for a vlogger like me to shoot yourself with a flip-out screen and face tracking autofocus. It's beautiful, nothing better than that. That's what I was thinking right before this camera came out, the one that I'm shooting with right now.